With the code that we have so far, we were able to generate a player expression. It only contains dashes. We were able to print that one. We got the very first character from the player or from the user, and also we were able to check if that letter is inside the secret expression or not. So that is one turn of the game. What going to happen if we're going to play more than once? So for example, if the player has 5 times chances to guess a letter, or 5 times they have chances to guess it wrong. This time we're going to repeat the game. We're going to repeat the process that we did. So that's why I said let's just keep the game very simple. Let's have the very simple code, and as we go we're going to make it more complex and more complicated. So, but if you at the very beginning you just try to make it very complicated or want to write it all everything at once, it might seem a little like impossible or hard to do. So that's one suggestion, recommendation from me, to keep things simple when you're writing the code, and as you go and you're testing and it works properly, you can add more features to your code, and hopefully you can just test it again and it will work properly. So as I said here, we're going to repeat some of these stuff that we have written here. One part that we need to repeat is asking or prompting the player to enter the next character. That's something must be repeated. Also, checking if that player guess or that letter is inside a secret expression or not. That's something that must happen several times. So let's introduce another tool in Java or programming languages, that is the loop structures, or repeat something more than once. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to write something called a while loop structure. A while loop structure that will repeat something more than once, or the things that comes inside that while loop will be repeated more than once, or can be repeated more than once. So I'm going to put the while loop here. So while, and here I'm going to say while true, and I'm going to explain it in just a very short moment, that what I just wrote. Okay, I added this while true here with curly brace open here and curly brace closed here. So everything was here before, now will be inside this while loop structure. So the code seems a little ugly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on my code and format my code. So this is to format my code to make it better looking. So let's focus now on the while statement. So while is a keyword, as you see, is a keyword that after that we have a pair of parentheses. So similar to the if statement, as you see here, a pair of parentheses, and similar to the if statement as well, we have a condition here. So anything that will be evaluated to either true or false can be inside the while loop structure. And true is a Boolean value. It's going to be either true or false, which we know that is going to be true is always true. So it is a Boolean expression and can come inside the while loop pair of parentheses. So while this is true, or while the condition is true, that means that all the time or forever repeat this code that we have here. So although this code is not going to end as we run it, because it's going to happen or we're going to repeat forever, but actually we can end it somehow. But let's see that what's going to happen just by having this while true here and running the code. So I'm going to run the code. So run file. So enter your next guess, for example, P, and here is ask me enter your next guess, which is T, and which is incorrect. Okay, let's pause for here and see that what happened. So here, while true, when the while loop or any like the condition statement or expression will be evaluated. So here the true is a condition, so while it is true, so that's true, and it's going to go inside the body of this while loop structure. So it's going to print the player expression, which is a bunch of dashes here. Then it's going to ask the user for the next character. It's going to compare, and it's going to print the proper message based on if the player guess is inside the secret expression or not. Then after this line here, it's going to go to the end of the while loop. As you see here, this is highlighted because these are related to each other. And then it will go and will check the condition of the while loop one more time. And because it is written true, so that means the condition is true, so it will go here again. So it's going to print the player expression one more time, which is again is bunch of dashes. So that's why you see it's repeated here again. And also you're saying that into your next guess also repeated, and everything is repeated. For sure this time I press T, which is not inside the secret expression, so it's going to print incorrect. So again, I can just check a lot of other characters. For example, E is not here. F, I think I have not checked it. Let's check it. It's inside. For example, V is not here. And no, actually, we had V here. So V is here, or like the Y, for example, which is incorrect, and so on. So as you see, it repeats, and it's going to repeat forever. But that's not how the Hangman game works. For the Hangman game, and that's part of like the reasoning that I would like you to process and have in your mind. So we said do something for several times, but we don't want to do this process of asking the user and checking to repeat forever. In the real Hangman game, we actually have several chances. For example, a player has 5 chances, or 5 times chances to guess incorrectly, while they are able, being able to guess the correct secret expression. So for that, I'm gonna, in order to process that or including that inside the game, I'm going to create another integer variable. So I'm going to define it integer chances, and I'm going to set it equal to 5, which is how many times a player can guess a letter incorrectly. So let's say it is 5 times it is possible to do that. So let's see that again how the game works. In the real Hangman game, when a player guesses incorrectly, then the number of times that they can guess incorrectly will be deducted, will be reduced by 1. So that's what we're going to do inside this while loop. How many times they can guess, or how many times we need to ask the player before saying that if they have won the game or they have lost the game. It is based on the number of chances. So let's go to the else statement of this if, which says that if the secret expression does not contain the character that the player guessed. So besides saying that, or in addition to printing incorrect, we're going to also deduct the number of chances by 1. So chances will be equal to chances minus 1. So if for example, there were like the 5 at once. As soon as they're guessing an incorrect letter, it's gonna be 4, and if they guess an incorrect letter again, it's gonna be 3, and so on until it reaches 0. And that's where we need to stop asking the user or the player for the next letter. So I'm going to change this while loop here, while true, to something like while chances is greater than 0. And that makes sense. That's how the Hangman game works. We're saying that while the number of times the user have guessed incorrectly is not more than 5, or the number of lives that they have is more than 0, repeat the process. So I'm going to stop the code and I'm going to run it one more time and see what happens. This time I'm going to test my code only with incorrect letters, so we're going to see that actually the game will stop after 5 guesses. So let me run the code. So enter your next guess. For example, B is not here, so incorrect. So the chance will be 4. We actually can print that one, but for now is good. So for example, the letter C, which is not here. The letter D, which is not here. So 3 incorrect guesses so far. So we have only 2 chances, 2 more chances. And then the next one gonna be, I think H. So H is not here. And then also let's have the Y here, which is incorrect. And as you see, the game is stopped after 5 incorrect guess. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the while loop stop. So that's not how we made this while loop working, by deducting the chance by 1. Before, when I had written while true, this while loop was going and going and going forever and ever. But again, that's not what we're gonna do. So I said chance is equal to chances minus 1. So I deducted chance by 1 each time, and so I'm reducing the chance of like the player to be able to guess the secret word correctly. So here, what else we can do is actually to show the number of chances they have or that's remain. So anytime that I'm deducting the chance by 1, I'm going to write also saying System.out .println, and again it's going to be a message. So remaining chances, which going to be here the chances. So now if I run the code one more time, and again I play some incorrect one, for example B here, as I see here it says remaining chances are 4. When I press C, it's going to be 3. When I press for example D is incorrect, so, and then for example H is 1, and finally when I press Y, remaining chances is 0. So the program ends without the player winning the game.